Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and today I want to be showing you how to adjust your angle of your headlight. Say you're riding with your buddies and you hit an area like a forest preserve area where it's no street lights and you turn on your brights. When you turn on your brights, it's supposed to illuminate as far, even further out so you could see better. But say you're riding, you turn on your high beams and you find out it's not lighting up as you want it to. It could be adjusted. It'll be your headlight beam. It might be pointed too low, so you may want to point it up more in order to achieve this. Okay, there are three locations of the screws or bolts that you're going to be adjusting. One is going to be over there on the left, right by where I have the ballast box, so one bolt right there. The next one will be all the way down there next to this screwdriver one. There's one right here, so that's the second one. And then the third one will be right over here. These are the three bolts you're going to be using to adjust your headlight beam angle from up to down and left to right. Just start adjusting those bolts accordingly and look, on where's the proper positioning you want your headlight to shine. Once you do it on one side, you want to make sure you go ahead and go and do the same thing on the other side. Same thing on the right side. It's going to be kind of hard to show you guys, but on the right side you got your bolts right over here where I'm pointing my finger at. There's one bolt here, and then the other bolt right over here where my finger is touching. That's the second one, and then your third bolt is going to be up here on the top, right there where my finger is wiggling at. That's your third bolt, and that's on the right side. You don't want to just do the adjustment only on your right side, and then when you turn your brights, find out that your bright is pointed down to the floor or up too high in the sky. So you just want to make sure that the beam of light is both leveled evenly across. Okay, now that you're found a nice road, or if you live in a dark area, now this will be the perfect time to adjust your beam angle. As you can see on my bike, I have it actually the light pretty low, and I would like it to, show more of the road. As you can see with my little LED, I wanted to show more upwards. So right now it's kind of in the low area. I want it to be more up so I could see more of the road as I'm riding. So I do have LEDs on my bike. So as you could see from the bike, it is kind of low. So I'm going to adjust from those 3 points that I showed you earlier, the beam angle. So let's go ahead and do that. As you can see in here, there's the one screw right over here, right there. There's that one down there, and another one that I showed you. So we're gonna get the 10mm socket, and we're gonna start adjusting the beam right now. It's gonna be kind of tricky to get in there. You may just want to move your handlebars left or right. We're gonna start off with right headlight, which is the low beam, and we're gonna start adjusting that one right now. If you do happen to have LEDs, I do happen to have LEDs inside, so I do have, so instead of using a flashlight, I could actually turn on my white LEDs and use those. But for this video, I will do it with a flashlight and then just kind of look where the bolt I'm going to be using to adjust, and then also looking ahead of me to see how high and what angle the light will be. Okay, so as you turn it counterclockwise, because when I installed these lights I actually screwed them in all the way, so you want to turn it counterclockwise. As you do that, you're not going to be able to see it too much on this video because it's like every little turn it's moving like a half a millimeter. When you turn it really fast, you're going to start seeing the beam of light move more up. So just want to make sure that however many turns you do on one, you want to do on the other side, so you could even out the light, because if you just only turn one screw, it's going to be off. So you don't want that. You want to make sure you have an even beam of light. Okay, I already adjusted the low beam light, and it's good to have some cars around, because that way you could see how high you have your light. So I angled the light just a little bit above the car so you could see the beam of light, which is probably just above the tree line of the car. So I moved it at least a good from the wheel to the front of the light. It's a good probably like 3 to 4 feet. So it's a good distance. Prior to that, it was, I would say this bottom part over here was more closer to here. So I moved it pretty much an extra 2 feet. So by doing that, now I have the projector beam headlight a little bit above the level of the cars from a distance from the roof line, and now I could see the stop sign all the way from this distance, which as you can see is right there, that little circle right there. That's the stop sign. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to turn on your high beam. So let's start up the bike and turn on the high beam. Now for the high beam, you want to let the light warm up so that way you can get a good level there. So as you can see, here's the high beam. You want it to at least match the low beam. Alright, so we're going to turn off the bike. We're going to have to do this pretty quick because having your high beams and your bike off will drain the battery pretty quick. So I'm going to get to it. It's the same process as the right side. You want to get to those 3 screws. Each screw, when you turn it counterclockwise, does a different thing. So just as you're doing it, just be mindful of what it is, how the beam of light is looking as you're turning those screws. Okay, after you adjust the high beam light, as you can see, it's equal to your low beam. Since I do have the bike on the kickstand, what you want to do is put your bike, just get get it off the kickstand. And let's get it off the kickstand. So there you go. As you can see, it looks like the beam, both lights are equal. So you find where you want your headlights to be. As I'm pretty content with how this looks. As you can see, you could actually see there's a person there walking their dog. So before, even with my brights, I was not even able to see that. But now that I adjusted the angle of the lights, now I'm able to see even further away. And this is with my high beams. All right, so now we're gonna put the bike back on the kickstand. There we go. Now we're gonna turn off the high beams, and we'll see how it looks like with the low beams only. So there you go. There it is. So now the second part to this installation is what you want to do is you want to go and find a parking lot with you know, a nice straight wall of a building, like with no windows or anything, just only brick. Most likely just a side building will work just fine. So now let's turn on the high beams, and now as you can see, I'm able to see the whole entire road from left to right, which is going to help a lot when you're riding through areas where it's barely any light. As you can see in this neighborhood, there's not that much light, so this is actually going to help a lot when you're riding down the street. Okay, now for the second part of this video, I found a school that had a pretty decent sized wall with no windows on it, at least where this basketball net is, and there's no light over there, so it'd be perfect. So I parked my bike at least a good parking spot back, and I'm going to turn on the light, and then I'm going to sit on it and see how well I did with adjusting the angle of the light. And then I'm also going to turn on the high beam, and then I just want to make sure that the high beam and the low beam level are in the same level. You don't want it to be high beam here and then low beam on the right side, and your high beam being more higher than your low beam. You want to make sure you want to have an equal line, a good level line for both high and low beam at the same time. So let's get started. Alright, so let's get started by turning on the bike. Let's get the bike started and let's see where we are with the level of the light. Alright, so according to the wall, it looks like I'm level. Now let's turn on the high beam, and that should be, it looks like it's leveled for now. So it looks like it's leveled so far. You could always do adjustments later on if you don't see it satisfied, if you're not satisfied for how the light looks. So according to the floor also, it looks leveled. Because over here, there's like a little point here and a little point over here. You want to just make sure that this kind of also leveled also. Well, I hope you found this video very helpful, and hopefully was able to help you out on how to adjust your headlights. If you like my video and you would like to see more, please like, subscribe, and leave any comments below. Thanks for watching.